see, one thing I've learned from this whole study abroad journey is in that cold email, I didn't say anything about scholarship. I just, fortunately for me, that day when I joined, I think we were about six. So in order to make my application competitive, I added a couple. According to my research, I heard they had a lot
Yeah,
of,
that's true.
funding.
Is Virginia Tech the only university that gave you a GA?
And like I said, if it's not a full scholarship, I
Yeah.
wasn't going.
But how was the visa interview experience for you?
I didn't do it in Ghana again. I traveled to Sierra Leone to do it. When I got there were so many questions running. I felt they were going to ask me questions about my previous denial and all that.
Who was special enough that you called first?
Yeah,
Did you know any Ghanaian in the school before you left Ghana?
I always thank God that I was denied. I always thank God that I was denied. Like I always say, why pay when you can get it for free?
Yeah.
There's that option, so you can choose it. I would say the weather. When I came,
What?
I, you know, yeah,
Do you understand the question I've not asked you?
I know where you're trying to get.
I want to know a little bit about your background before we get into the whole story.
Mhm.
Where did you have your bachelor's degree? What did you study, and what did you do after that?
Okay, so first of all, my name is Daniel, like you said, and I studied in University of Ghana, Legon, and I read political science with linguistics, and then I completed in 2017 with a GPA of 3.45.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had a GPA of 3.45, right? What
Yeah.
did you do after that? In Ghana, we do national service. So what did you
Hmm.
do?
Exactly. So right after completing, I got a job offer. That's a national service. For some reasons, I might not want to mention the name of my
Yeah, that's
company.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got this job offer with this company. It's one of the reputable companies in Ghana, and then I worked with them throughout my whole year. That's throughout the 1 year, and right after that, I was fortunate enough. I got a job offer with them. So that was where I was before I even thought of starting this study abroad journey.
Yeah. Most students they don't get opportunity to stay after their national
Hmm.
service. So
Yeah.
what did you do? Why do you think they decided to keep you?
Well, for I would say it's all God because for me, some of the stories I heard, the person who was there before I came, did better. Like everybody was talking about him and all that. For your bosses to be, talking about you, even to the point of you, even, trying to get you a job, it means you really did a good job.
Yeah.
So yeah, I also did my best, but
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't say I didn't deserve it, but I think he did quite a great job. That was why everybody kept mentioning his name. And yeah, I would say it's God. One, two, hard work, dedication. Because I really wanted to be retained after my service, so I did the best that I could.
That's good.
Aside
So
the God aspect, yeah,
yeah. So 2018, that was when you finished your national service, right?
yeah.
And even though they retained you, you were still thinking about studying abroad. Was that
Hmm.
the case? Or when did you start thinking about study abroad?
Okay, so I've always had this dream to study abroad. I don't know where I got that from. I think probably maybe because my dad also had the same experience. He actually studied in Australia. So growing up,
Mm,
I always had this dream to study abroad. The opportunity that comes with it, the change in environment that I've been studying in Ghana throughout my life,
yeah.
and I needed something new. So I had it in mind that for my master, I'm not going to do it in Ghana. I would always love to do it outside the country, and US was a preferred choice for me personally. Yeah.
Mm. So what exactly did you do uh, to make you start the process?
So before I started, I had little knowledge about it. Though I was interested, I wanted to study outside and all that. I had little knowledge about it. So there was one time I reached out to a friend. We actually completed Legon together. Sorry, we actually completed Legon together, and I told him about my plans, my study plans, and he was like, "Hey, I'm also doing the same thing. I know of a friend, and that's the preferred, like the agent I'm talking about. I know of a friend who does this. He recommended him, and then he told me some of his works and all that. So we got in touch with this guy, and then we began the process. That was late 2019, entering into 2020, before the COVID, started. Yeah.
Yeah. So you reach out to the agents. The agents uh charged you some money, right? How much do you remember how much you were charged? And what was
Um,
the agent able to do for you?
so I told him about my study plans, and then he was like, he's going to apply to some schools for me. And then I don't know if it's a marketing strategy they use. They will promise you scholarships and everything. But when I started it myself, like I realized that the thing is not straightforward like that. Yeah. So, fast forward, we talked about it, we spoke about the terms. I don't remember the exact amount of it, but it was quite substantial. You know,
Mm,
he took
uh,
he took the amount, and then one thing about working with some of these agents is most of the times you are being kept on the blind side, right? So I didn't know the number of schools he applied. All that he told me was to get him scanned copies of my transcript, my certificate, and then a couple of recommendation letters. So I had to do that on my own. Yeah. With it together with the payment, I had to do that on my own, and then he handled the rest. He wasn't willing to share any information as to how to begin
uh,
the process, how to start this, do that, do that, do that. He will only tell you what he needs from you. Yeah.
mm. Did you get an offer?
Yeah. So I think I got two offers. One was from this famous college, Anna Maria, and
Yeah.
then the other was from University of Massachusetts, Lowell.
What
That's
did
it.
you want to study?
Okay, so I actually wanted to do something in administration because
Okay.
that was what I was doing at my place of work. Though I was a legal assistant, most of my duties had to do with administrative stuff and all that. So I always wanted to do something in administration. So he got me an admission with business administration with the two schools I mentioned, Massachusetts, the Well, and then Anna Maria. Yeah, but it wasn't. I didn't get any scholarship offers.
Okay. So when you got admission, what did you do after that?
So with some of the schools, he told me I would need to pay. Sorry about that. He told me I would need to pay an enrollment deposit. Yeah, that I remember. And I think it was somewhere around $300, $500. Yeah, I did that. And then he also told me in order to get my I-20, I had to pay some money for a bank statement. And I remember I did that as well. And after that, after getting the I-20, that was when we started the visa process. So with the visa process, because I didn't get any scholarship, it meant I would also need a bank statement. So he charged me again for the bank statement. And because my visa interview was in Cote d'Ivoire, I had to find some money and pay for the MRV fees. And then the person who was going to take care of that, we also had needed to sort him out, kind of. So there was a whole lot of, here and there with the finances and all that. I don't remember the figures of it because it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So which means that everything that you were trying to do at the time wasn't real, right?
yeah, yeah,
Wasn't real. Okay.
yeah.
So you mentioned two admissions. Which one did you use to process your visa?
So I used the Lowell because that was a university. Anna Maria was a college, a community
Mm.
college. Yeah, so we spoke about it. Like I remember we had a conversation about it, and then he recommended that I use the university because that would increase my chances. So yeah, we ended up using Massachusetts as well.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
did they increase your chances at the interview? Was your visa approved?
So that day, I remember I went there with some friends. A couple of them were four in all, four Ghanaians. And when we got to the embassy, we met other Ghanaians as well. They were also there for their interview. Now, when we entered the place, I don't know if anybody has ever. I'm sure there are people here who have been to the embassy before. So it's like a banking hall, and when you are called, you just walk to the booth, and then the interview begins. And it's an open space, so definitely it's quiet. Everybody will be listening to the conversation you are having with the
Mm.
visa officer. So yeah, my friends, went and then they were denied. That was when the tension actually started. You know, you know, we had rehearsed throughout the night. You know, it was quite disheartening seeing your friends, being denied and all that. So when it got to my turn, I went to the booth, and trust me, it wasn't a comfortable atmosphere. Like, I was really tense because it was my first time.
Yeah.
And I would say that because probably maybe I was, kept on the blind side almost all the time, I wasn't confident about a lot of things I was saying. Yeah, I wasn't confident about a lot of things I was saying. I would say, people will say that you need yeah, it's true, you need a scholarship. It increases your chances and everything. But one other thing aside the God aspect and then the funding aspect that has to do with your confidence. If you are not confident, trust me, there's no way. I don't know how you are going to do it. So he asked me where am I going. I started reciting the rehearsed answers, and she was looking at she okay, well, initially she looked at me, and then when I started talking, she started typing and all that. She wasn't looking at me again, and she asked me the next question. Why did I choose this particular school? I told her blah 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 blah. I did this, I did that, did that, and then I tried to link it to my work, what I do at my organization, because that was what we were told. You have to show home ties and all that. I said that, and then she asked me one question. She was like, because I think she asked me that because my course wasn't directly related to what I actually did. I studied. Remember, I said I studied political
Political
science.
science.
Yes, and I was going to do business administration. You know, business administration is general, is broad. I think it wasn't directly linked. So
Mm-hmm.
she asked me this question. She was like, if I want to graduate successfully, what do I need to do? Right? She wanted to know if I knew much about the program I had applied for.
Mm.
So that one day, Charlie, that question got me off. Like, it caught me off guard. Like, I wasn't prepared for that question. So I just said a couple of things because I couldn't just black out and not say
Mm.
anything. I just said a couple of things, but to me, like, probably maybe it just came out because I was under the pressure to say something. It wasn't related to probably maybe what she was looking for. So probably maybe that was what made her deny me or something.
Mm.
Because the first two answers, to me, I think they were perfect. I said exactly what I was supposed to say, but that question really caught me off guard, and I would say that was why I was denied, together with the funding aspect and everything.
So that experience wasn't a pleasant one, given that you went to a different country.
Mhm.
Did you learn something from that? And was the lessons you learned from that experience the reason why you decided to do everything on your own?
Yeah, I think it kind of fueled me to start something on my own. My dad always said this: you have your best interest at heart yourself.
Yeah,
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 nobody can love you more than you love yourself. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah. So um, I know some agents are doing a great job and all that, but some of them are also messing up people's lives and all that. I would say that looking at the money that went into it, the time I invested into it, traveling to a different country. It was, mind you, it was COVID time, so the borders were closed. You had to go through so many immigration, so many wahala. It was too much. It was crazy. So looking at all those things I did, just for my feet to be decided in,
Yeah.
some 2 minutes or 3 minutes, my money just went down the drain. It was a long journey
Yeah.
back home. So looking at
Yeah.
or considering all those factors, I was like, no, I'm not going to do this through an agent again. I'm going to do this myself. And then I had chanced on a couple of videos like online while I was, trying to study abroad, while I was using the agent, I saw a couple of videos, but I didn't really pay attention to them. So that was when, I was like, I need to go back to these videos, start something on my own, try and, do something on my own.
Mm.
Yeah,
Wow. So you decided to do it on your own. Did you
exactly.
think you can actually do it on your own?
Yeah, yeah. I think like I said, you have your best interest at heart
Yeah.
than anybody else. So,
Yeah.
though at the beginning it was tough, you know, trying
Mm.
to learn something new. That's how everything is supposed to be. When you're
Yeah.
trying to go into a new area, it's going to be tough because you're not
Yeah.
familiar with it. But with time, I
That's
think
true.
with
Yeah.
time and then determination, you get better at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I've learned from this whole study abroad journey is you have to do it yourself, right? You have to do it
Yeah.
yourself. If you don't do it yourself, it drains your confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Especially at the interview.
appear. Mhm. You
Yeah.
just appear in front of the visa officer. They will ask you a question, and it's like you don't have so much information, so you
Yeah.
can't speak to it, and then
Yeah.
that is going to cause your downfall. Yeah,
Yeah.
even if you
That's
have a
true.
full scholarship, it is
Yeah.
going to cause your downfall. Yeah,
Yeah. So I want you to walk me through, step by step, what you did for you to eventually get the GA. Because I think somewhere in 2021 or 2022, you got an offer which wasn't 100%. So you decided not to take up that offer. So tell
yeah.
me what you did, step by step for you to eventually get the full GA.
Okay, so one of the things that motivated me to go the second time with a scholarship was that um, one lady, I think after I was denied, one lady, went after me, and then she came out, she got it, and I don't fully remember what exactly she did, but I think she had a full scholarship. So I was like, "Oh, okay, so yeah,
It's a
together
big,
with some of the stories that I've heard and some of the videos I've heard, it means scholarships play, a major role in you getting your visa. So I was like, I'm not going to go there again. The second time that I'm going there, I'll make sure I have a full scholarship before I go there.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
And
makes
then
sense.
looking at my experience, that was going to, kind of make my story different. Yeah.
Mm,
So, coming to some of the steps that I took to, get this full scholarship. Um I applied, but before I did, I made sure I contacted the program director of my program what I'm studying now. So I contacted him, and then I told him, I sent my portfolio, I told him about my experience, my interest, and then I spoke, like I attached my transcript and my CV as well. And then I showed interest in the program. You know, in that cold email, I didn't say anything about scholarship. I just expressed my interest in the program. So he actually kind of reached out to me, and then it was like, okay, I was a good fit. Yeah, I was a good fit for the program, so I can go ahead and apply. So after getting that email, we kind of had this exchange back and forth. So after a couple of emails, that was when I asked about the funding aspect, and it was like, yes, they give funding to international students.
mm,
So for me, that was kind of like a green light for me because I was so focused on getting a scholarship. If I had contacted the school and then the school was like, I'm not giving any, we don't have scholarships, so I'll just put the school aside. It doesn't really, no matter my interest or I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
yeah,
Some people are so hell bent on, you know, going to Harvard or going to Yale, even if you
yeah,
come at a cost. But why pay when you can study for free?
yeah,
So that
that's
was
true.
my focus. If I reach out to a school, and they tell me they are not offering scholarship. I just put it aside.
Mm.
Yeah. And then I focus on the ones that would give, that would give me
Yeah.
scholarship. I think that was what increased my chances. And then I also asked about GRE. Fortunately for me, my department was waiving GRE at the time. I think they are still waiving
Within it.
GRE. Yeah. So we stayed in touch. We exchanged a couple of emails. If there's anything I didn't understand, you know, I I asked, and then I made sure that I didn't ask any question that was directly stated on their website. I asked
Mm.
questions that were
Yeah,
specific to my needs. Yeah,
that makes
and
sense.
yeah, she. So because of the conflict, like the chat that we had, the rapport that we had, he sent me an info session, like a link for an info session about the. So they were having an info session about the program, what they do, the opportunities that were available, what you can do with the program after you graduate and all that. So he sent me that, and then I joined. And fortunately for me, that day when I joined, I think we were about six, together with a couple of faculty members who were there to enlighten us about the program. So during the info session, we were active, we were asking questions, so they kind of got to know everybody and all that. Yeah. So after that, a couple of months, that was in, I think that was in either May, June, or July. After some months, I applied. I put in the application, and I got a response from them after December. That was January. Yes, I got a response after December, January. So the admission came without the scholarship, right? It came without the scholarship, but I kept sending emails. I kept in touch. I kept sending emails. I also sent code mails to other professors in my faculty as well, showing interest in their research and all that. So I think that was what did the magic for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So you said you applied in July
Hmm.
for fall.
Yeah.
So for the next fall, is that what you mean?
Yeah. For the next fall.
Okay, okay, that makes sense. About your portfolio, what you mentioned it. What is it? What did you put in your portfolio? What is your portfolio? What was it about?
Okay. So um, my experiences first, my academic credentials, and a couple of essays that I had written about my program. Like that was in line with my program. So
Okay,
it wasn't a requirement. It wasn't a requirement, but you could add it. I researched on their website, and then they were like, you could add write-ups if you want to, if you have it and you want to. So in order to make my application competitive, I added a couple of write-ups, and I think that also helped because
okay.
mind
Right,
you,
write-ups.
mhm.
Did you have like a research paper that you had published?
Okay, so when I didn't write any research
Okay,
paper. So um, I did a couple of write-ups, some essays, maybe a 1 to 5 page essay,
okay.
academically written essay with references, and all that.
Wow.
Yeah. So I did like 3 papers about my program, and yeah, I submitted it as part of my my portfolio.
Mm. How many schools did you apply to?
Okay, so I did like 8 schools.
Mm.
Yeah, I did. I might not be able to remember all those schools, but I
Yeah,
remember I did Ohio
Ohio University.
University. Yeah,
Okay.
Ohio University, Virginia Tech. That's where I am now, and I did Kansas State. I was looking at the land grant universities.
Yeah,
Yeah, according to my research, I heard they had a lot
yeah,
of
that's true.
funding. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Ohio University, Texas State University, um, Kansas State University, Virginia Tech, and University of Alabama, Illinois Tech, Illinois State. Yeah, I don't know if I've gotten the 8.
Mm. Probably maybe around six. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's good to know.
mhm,
That's good to know. So, you applied to these schools.
yeah,
Did you send cold emails to each of these schools, like professors in each of these schools, or just
yeah,
Virginia Tech?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I was sending code emails. Apart from contacting the program director and then the graduate coordinator, I was also sending code emails to professors.
Mm,
And yeah, some will reach out, some will also reach out. Some might not reach out to you, but that didn't deter me. I could send as many as I can. Yeah, even to professors outside my department. Yeah.
mm. So, if you send a cold email to a school and then you don't get a response, do you still go ahead to apply to that school? Did you do that, or you just ignore those schools?
No, I just, in a way, well, so I was looking at these things. If I contact the program director or the graduate coordinator and then they give me the assurance that they are giving funding, right? And I contact a professor in the school and the professor doesn't reach out to me, well, I might as well take my chances because they've
Okay.
given me the assurance.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
That makes sense. And recommendation letters, it's something that students really struggle with. Did you
Mhm.
struggle with yours, and who recommended you?
So my professors, most of them, I mean, they were good to me.
Mm,
Uh, my professors back in Legon, well, I had this professor. I don't want to mention his name. Yeah, he really did a lot with the recommendation letters. Well, initially it was a struggle, but I think because I kept coming and coming and coming and coming, it was like I'm tired of this guy. Let me just give him what he wants.
mm,
Yeah, yeah.
okay, that's
And
amazing.
then one thing you should notice, for those who are in school, once you are in school, just establish that relationship with them. Especially if you want to study abroad, you might need it. Because some of the professors, I remember one professor told me she never taught me, so she's not going to write a recommendation letter for me. Yeah. So if
Yeah,
you really want to, study abroad whilst you're in school, apart from, getting your academics right, you also have to establish a good relationship with your professors. You might need them
yeah,
in the future. Yeah.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I know that you got a GA from Virginia Tech because of the coaching, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is Virginia Tech the only university that gave you a GA?
Okay, so I got a GA from Texas State. Yeah. But it wasn't enough. And like I said, if it's not a full scholarship, I
Yeah.
wasn't going. So yeah, I had these two offers. Actually, that one came first. The Texas State came first, and then the
Mm,
Virginia Tech came later. So I had to
yeah,
choose between the two, and then obviously anybody anybody will choose, to go with a better option. So I
yeah, of
chose
course. Yeah,
Virginia
money is
Tech.
important when it comes to study abroad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And well, I don't know if you're going to ask this question, but like you said, let me just hit on it and then leave it here. Probably maybe that question will come up.
Mm,
Money is very, very important, to study in the US. Trust me,
yeah,
you have no idea. It's very
yeah,
important. So work
yeah,
at it.
yeah, yeah. Given the effort you put in for like 3 years before you finally got a GA,
Mhm.
do you think any agent will be able to put in that much work for you? Do you think that any agent will do that?
No, 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 I don't think so. You see,
Yeah, it's
the thing is, sometimes for the good ones, for the agents that are not after money, who have their clients at heart, sometimes it's not their fault. Probably maybe they are handling a lot of students. So
mm,
yeah, they have loads of work to attend to. So they might not give
that's
you the
true.
attention you need.
Yeah,
Yeah. But for those who are after the money, they literally just don't care. They are just after your money. They tell you what you need to hear and then
mm,
get the money. Once they get the money, they're gone.
mm, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I keep hammering this. You have your best interests at heart. So and then it's
yeah,
it's cost effective too. When you are doing it for yourself, you don't spend as much as somebody
yeah,
doing it for you and the person charging you. So
yeah,
yeah, you just have to be dedicated, put in the work, and then you'll be fine.
yeah. Mm. Yeah, you work very hard on your own and then you got a
Mhm.
GA. What
Yeah.
about your friends? Did they take the same route, or they still haven't been able to come to the US?
Okay, so we were four, three males, and then together with myself, three males and then one female. I I learned one of them has gone to the UK. The other two are still working on their process.
Mm,
And I would probably maybe I would say because they are working now, they are not as motivated as they have to be in order to go through the process because with this process you need a lot of motivation. There are so many ups
yeah,
and downs. Yeah. I would attribute their lack of motivation to probably maybe the kind of work what they are doing now, the work they are doing now. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what I would say about it.
yeah. That's amazing. I mean, yeah, you have to really be proud of yourself because
Yeah.
it's not easy at all.
Mm.
So,
So
if you were somebody, the person would just say, okay, things didn't work out, so let me be patient with the agent, hopefully I get another thing. But you decided to do everything on your own and all of that. And
mm-hmm.
then you got a GA and then you reached out to me for coaching. So
Yeah.
at the time, I hadn't really been long in the space, when I came back. So why did you decide to reach out to me for coaching? Like, you actually paid for the coaching. So why did you decide to do that?
Okay, so I don't know, but probably maybe because I was watching a lot of coaching videos and all that. I
Mm,
was on my TikTok one time after getting the offer and everything. Though I was joining other mock sessions and all that, I
mm,
felt I needed personal coaching because I've heard so many stories about people with full scholarship they go there and they are denied. It means they are missing something. So let me just reach out to you. And then go being so good, I just chanced on your video on TikTok, and then I actually kind of like the way you were explaining some of the things. I think a video you did about you were citing some questions and then how to answer it. I think that was your first
yeah,
video I chanced on,
yeah,
and I was like, wow, this is very detailed and very structured. You don't have to talk a lot. You don't have to say a lot of things. You just need to hit the right point,
yeah,
at the right time. And so I think for me that was a catch. That was what really made
uh,
me
uh,
reach out to you.
mm, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm happy you approved. I mean, when I looked at your profile, I mean, I knew it was going to be easy for you, even though you had been denied before. But with that
Yeah.
GA offer and all of that, and the coaching, the way it works is I show you how to prepare the answers. You prepared your
Hmm.
answers, and the answers were solid. So I knew, I mean, there wasn't going
Yeah.
to be any issue. But how was the visa interview experience for you?
Okay. So um, it was well getting to the embassy. I didn't do it in Ghana again. I traveled to Sierra Leone to do it, and
Ah, okay.
yeah, getting there was quite hectic. Like I had to, being in a different country. Though they speak English, they don't really understand our kind of English. There are so
Yeah.
many hurdles and all that. Getting to the embassy. I remember that day it was raining in the morning. It was raining.
Wow.
I know a lot of people share that same experience even in Ghana.
Mm.
You go for every side interview and then it's raining. Especially, it's,
That's brutal.
it's yeah, it's some way. So, I had to get there as soon as possible. You know, present my documents, enter the hall, and Sierra Leone. I would say kind of they have the same setup like they did in Ivory Coast. I think it's something about the American embassy. They all kind of have the same setup. So when I entered, there was a lady that was interviewing initially. So there were a lot of people, as usual. There were a lot of people there. I could count not less than like 30 people for different kind of visas, not only students. So the lady was interviewing. The one thing about Sierra Leone is they will allow you to speak, right? They will allow you to say anything you want to say.
Oh,
But
wow.
if they don't get what they want, they will just say that, oh, sorry, try again later. So when I was in the queue, we were actually seated. So when I was in the queue, one thing I realized was that all those who were saying my uncle, my auntie, all those people were denied. Yeah, the people that had some sort of funding, were kind of in their good books. All those who had funding, got their visas that day. So The lady started, she interviewed a couple of people and then she closed the counter. It was only one person interviewing. She closed the counter, she went and then another person came. This time it was a black man who came. And then he also came with the same, I don't know if that was their mandate that day. He also came with the same thing. If you don't have scholarship, that was it.
Yeah.
You talk, 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 talk. At the end of the thing, you say that, sorry,
I'm
try
sorry.
again later. Yeah. So before I got to my turn, there were three people in front of me, and they all got denied.
Wow.
So yeah, though I was a bit confident now, that experience again, you know,
Yeah,
it
that
made
hits you
me,
a
yeah,
little.
it hit me really hard. So, I was like, Charlie, I've come all this way to this place. I'm not going here without, I'm not going home without my visa. I have to get
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And then, with the coaching that you had given me, I had to, motivate myself. So my name was called. So with Sierra Leone, they would take your documents, they would take everything from you, and then they will call you to the counter. So you don't have to walk there with your I-20 as it is in
Mm,
Ghana. Yeah. So
okay.
the gentleman called me, and then I walked to the counter, and then when I got there, there were so many questions running to my I felt they were going to ask me questions about my previous denial and all that. But funny enough, they didn't ask me, all these questions. I remember you gave me a tip with
Yeah.
I think it was a section on the visa, um,
Yeah. Have you been
visa,
denied
yeah,
before?
have you been denied before?
Yeah.
Yeah, you gave me a tip as to how to, approach that
Yeah.
answer. Yeah, so I think that also helped because a lot of people who have been denied before, mostly they ask them that
Yeah.
question. But
Yeah.
once you're able to explain yourself well in that
Yeah.
section, there's a
I won't. They won't ask you.
70% chance that they will not ask you.
Yeah.
So I got there and then I greeted him. He also responded back, and then the interview began. He asked me, why did I choose the program? So I was like, I chose this program because this, that, and then I tied it to the work that I do here, and I'm going to come back, do this, do that, do that, do that, do that, do that. So he was listening, nodding. He looked at me once. He was listening, nodding his head, kept typing, kept typing, kept typing. And then the next question, I don't know if it was a question. He was like, "Oh, I see you have a GA. Do you have documents to prove it?" I was like, "Yes, I do." So I quickly, ran through my
Yeah.
documents. It was properly arranged, so I didn't really struggle. Just put it out, and then I gave it to him. And he looked at it. He read it for a couple of minutes, I think 1 minute or two. Then he gave it back to me, and then he was like, "Oh, I see you're supposed to be in school by this date." And I was like, "Yes, I've even registered for some orientation and training programs,
Mm.
so I really need to be there at this date."
It's
And I
up.
was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Okay, that's cool. Your congratulations, your visa has been approved.
Wow.
I'm not going to make I'm not going to make any promises, but
Yeah.
because you have to be in school by this date, we'll make sure we get it before the estimated time." So in Sierra
Yeah.
Leone, once your visa has been approved, you would you would have to wait a week for them to do
Wow.
their background checks and everything.
Huh.
Yeah, you have to wait for a full week for them to do their background checks and then print your visa and give it to you. But for me, it took like 2 days because of, yeah, he actually placed a white paper at the back of
Mm.
my passport and wrote expedited. So I think once they saw that, they was like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they need to do it for this guy."
Uh,
So it was literally two questions. I didn't
wow.
stress at all.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah,
So you waited for the 2 days and then you got
yeah.
your visa before you left.
They called me to come pick it up.
Okay.
Yeah,
So they called you to pick the passport.
yeah.
Who
So
did you call first?
um,
Because I mean, obviously a lot of people knew you were going to Sierra Leone for your visa interview. So who was special enough that you called first? If you don't want to say it, feel free. But I'm just asking. It just came to me, and I feel like I asked you
I'll,
again.
I called my mom.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Called my
yeah.
mom and then I told my
That's
mom about
expected.
it. Yeah, yeah. I called my family and told them about it, and I think I spoke with my pastor too. Yeah,
Okay, I see.
yeah, yeah. I
Ah,
think
wow.
and then in the evening or I think the day after or the evening. I don't really remember. That was when I contacted you. Like, Charlie, far, far, far.
Yeah, I
Give me
think
the visa.
you forgot to tell me that your visa had been approved, right? I think
Yeah,
you told me a day after or
yeah,
something. You were like, "Oh, yeah, sorry, you forgot," and that kind. I
yeah,
think I
yeah,
asked
yeah.
you, and you told me, "Oh, yeah, 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 sorry, you forgot it."
Charlie,
I said, "Okay,
the
that's fine."
excitement alone. I mean,
Yeah, for
ha,
me, the most important thing was the fact that you've been approved. That's all I needed to
yeah,
know. So
yeah,
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 uh,
yeah. It was an
uh,
amazing, experience. It's an
uh,
yeah,
uh.
it's an amazing
So that
experience.
was Virginia Tech, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Did you know any Ghanaian in the school before you left Ghana?
Okay, so I've forgotten the name of the lady.
Hmm.
I'm trying to explain how I got to know about Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
But there's this lady, I think Freddie Fett has interviewed her before. So she made a video about Virginia Tech, and then she was, talking about the scholarships.
Like, does she also, like, is she in the study
Yeah,
abroad space?
yes, yes,
Oh,
yes. I
okay.
think Mary something. I'll have to
Okay.
look it up. Yeah. She actually was a student here. She has completed, I guess, because I've never seen her.
Mm.
I've gone for some programs with the the African community and all that. I've never seen her,
But
but
you
she,
could have asked about her, or
yeah, probably maybe I would have to do that.
okay.
But I've not seen her. I've not seen
Mm.
her. Yeah, some of these African programs you see everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've not seen her. So probably maybe she might have
She's
completed
left.
or
Okay.
something. Yeah, yeah. But she was the one who made a video about Virginia Tech and then explaining the opportunities that are available, the scholarships that are available. So she was the one who made me look into it. Prior to that, there was one lady I did service with way back in 2017. She left right after service. And then she came to the US and she came to Virginia Tech. So I had heard about Virginia Tech before the video I watched, but
Mm.
I didn't know about the scholarship and all that.
Oh,
It was
okay.
the lady's video that, explained much more about the
Yeah.
scholarship.
Oh,
So that
okay.
gave me the motivation to, yeah.
Oh,
But
oh.
after getting the visa, I got in touch with the lady who had been here. She introduced me to the Ghanaian community, the groups, and then, they've been so much help since I came. Yeah, they helped me with accommodation, some of the things I had to do and everything. Yeah.
And they picked you up from the airport as well, right? Somebody.
No, so for me, um I did a layover in the UK, so I got to the US quite late. I think it was around 11 p.m. getting
Mm.
to dawn. So yeah, I had to stay at the airport and wait for the bus in the morning because from the airport to my school was a lot of hours. It was like almost 6 hours or so. So I
Mm.
had to use a bus. Yeah, I had to use a bus to campus. When I got on campus, that was when my friends came to pick me up.
Mhm. So have you struggled financially, given the fact that you had a GA? Like, is your stipend good enough for you to take care of all your expenses? You know.
Yeah, yeah, I would say that it's enough. It's
Mm.
enough.
Wow.
They would. One thing about the scholarships is that they would make sure you're okay. You wouldn't have to
Yeah.
struggle. Even
Yeah.
if there are any payments you are supposed to make, will make sure that you are financially okay because
Yeah.
you being financially sound, like I said earlier, is part of you, succeeding in the US.
Yeah.
If
That's true.
you don't have that, you are really going to struggle. Those who do it without funding, respect, like Tuche Mom, they are
Yeah.
really doing well. They are
Yeah.
really doing well. Yeah,
Do you think you would have regretted your decision if your visa had been approved in 2020?
definitely. I always thank God. I always thank God that I was denied. I always thank God that I was denied. Like it's not funny. It's not funny. Like
Yeah.
I always thank God I was denied.
Yeah.
Like some people would be like, denied. Say, if
Yeah.
I had come without the
I'll survive.
without come on, it's too much. It's too
Yeah.
much. It's too much
Yeah.
because people, I've watched so many videos. People be like, no, I can come. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll get some job one or two. You can do it, but it's illegal. Maybe
Yeah.
somewhere along the line, you don't know who's watching.
Yeah.
You don't know who's watching you.
But those jobs are not even easy at all, man. Like, if you have
Exactly.
to, you know, like, go to a warehouse or something to work, it's not
Hmm.
easy. Oh. That kind of
Hmm.
job, you're combining with your academics. Like,
Exactly.
It takes a lot,
Mm-hmm.
and I would rather avoid that and try to get a GA, put in the work before I come, get a
Exactly.
GA, and then so that when I come, I can relax a little bit because there are so many issues here. It's not just financial issues, but there are other issues as well that as an
Exactly.
international student, you have to cope with and
Mm-hmm.
all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I will not. Yeah,
Yeah. Some most of the people, most of the employees, they wouldn't even employ you if they get to know that your
yeah,
status doesn't allow you to.
yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They would even
it's
employ you.
true.
They would just say, "Oh, submit your CV," or you won't hear from them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So in terms of
Unless,
academics, yeah, go
mhm.
on.
Unless probably maybe you have a fellow African who owns a company or shop and then who want
Yeah,
to
but
help you in that
how
manner.
many are they?
I mean
I
that's a
mean,
lot.
almost non-existent. So
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah,
you can't you don't have to gamble with this. Just
yeah,
go through the
get
process.
something. Yeah,
Yes. Make sure you get it. You know,
yeah,
like I always say, why pay when you can get it for free?
yeah,
There's that option, so you can choose it.
yeah. That's true. Yeah. So in terms of your studies, you don't have to worry about finances, so it means you can fully concentrate on your studies.
Yeah.
How does it compare with your studies back at the University of Ghana? Is it like, is it easier here compared to Ghana? What do you think?
Um okay, so with that I'll say it's tough at the beginning. When you come fresh, it's really tough. It's quite tough because there are so many things you have to adjust to. There are so many
Yeah,
differences. When I was
yeah,
in Ghana, you go to class with over 500 students, political science. So you go to class with over 500 students. The lecturer will teach. I'm not saying they are good teachers, like they are really good at what they do,
yeah.
but they wouldn't give you that much attention.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah, they wouldn't give you that much. But here, one thing I've realized is that they will try and get you involved in whatever you are studying. They will make sure that you participate. And then before you complete the course or before you leave the course, you get something out of it, right? So if you are the shy type, you have to change before you come. They will make you talk. That's the
yeah,
thing. They will try and get you involved.
mm,
And yeah, the education system in Ghana is equally good. Here, I think is superb because of the minimum class size, the attention they give, and then the practical aspect of the education.
lots of
It's
assignments.
yeah, it's top notch. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
That makes sense. So, when Ghanaians come to the US after a few months or a year or so, they start saying, "Oh, be careful of Ghanaians, be careful of Ghanaians, and Ghanaians are not good," and all of that. I spoke with you last week, right, on the phone, and
Yeah.
you were having a good time with fellow Ghanaians.
Yeah.
What is your relationship like with Ghanaians there? Do you have you had any problem with any Ghanaian there? And will you also say the same thing, like the same narrative about be careful of Ghanaians? Do you think it's something that you've come to I don't know, witness or something?
Okay, so for me personally, the people I've met so far, they've been good to me. I don't have issues with anyone. But
Mm,
um, well, I'm trying to answer your question. I think it would depend on the kind of circle you find yourself in,
yeah,
right? You should know yourself, and then you know the people you roll with. If you have a good circle, well, me, I'm quite religious when it comes to church and everything. Like, yeah, I'm interested. So the kind of friends that I have are also, into that thing. And then that moral aspect kinds of, keep everybody in check, I should say.
yeah.
Yeah, so I've not experienced it before. I've heard so many stories about it. Like, be careful,
Mm,
Ghanaians, and be careful. I've heard so many stories, but I've not
yeah.
experienced it yet. So far, they are the best people I've met. They
Wow.
really helped me. Yeah.
Mm. How many Ghanaians are there?
Off the top of my head, there are a
Yeah.
lot of them, and then most of them are PhD students. Like
Mm,
we don't have a lot of master's students here.
mm.
Most of them are PhD students, and if I should say, probably maybe like 50 plus, I guess.
Oh wow, that's a lot
Yeah,
of number. A lot of
yeah,
students actually, Ghanaian
yeah,
students. Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
And not only Ghanaian students, we have Ghanaian
Africans.
professors,
Oh,
Ghanaian
okay, Ghanaian
professors
professors.
here.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. I think one or two of them, yeah, here, and then we have normal Ghanaians who are also residing in the area, working. They are not students though.
Mm.
Mhm.
Which means you've not had any, I mean, obviously you've not had any financial issues, but what about your mental health? Have you had any mental health issue like missing home, loneliness, that kind of thing?
Mhm. Okay, so for me, like before I came here, I'm used to staying indoors, being alone with myself. So yeah, like it hasn't really been a challenge for me.
Uh,
Yeah, and then
okay.
anytime I feel lonely, or I just go to my friend's place, spend some time, play some games, try to blow off some steam and all that. But
Mm.
there's a good thing you've raised, being in the US or
Yeah,
any other foreign country, you should work on your mental, strength. If you are not
yeah,
mentally strong, it can really get to you. Yeah.
yeah.
Loneliness is like bread and butter here. Like
That's true.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So you really have to work on your psyche.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Hmm.
What have you enjoyed so much in the US?
Um, this is quite funny. I would say the weather. When I came,
What?
you know, yeah, the weather is,
You
I would say
prefer
is
the US weather to Ghanaian weather?
I'm adjusting. I'm still, but I think I'm enjoying it. When I came, it
The
was
cold
like
weather or the summer weather? Which one?
like the summer weather, entering into the cold, the winter.
Okay.
Yeah, not the
For
extreme
okay.
ones. The extreme ones, yeah, Charlie. You don't
Mm,
try it. You should
I
try
see.
it. You-
Yeah.
yeah, like oh, I mean, I'm just being funny. Like yeah, the weather is not bad, especially here. Here it's not that bad as compared to some places. I think it's okay, and
Mm,
I've also enjoyed the like I said, I'm a religious person, so the church, hanging around people, I've enjoyed that. The academics is something I've also enjoyed. It's a new thing for me. I'm still learning, but so far so good. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying every
mm,
little bit of my experience here.
yeah.
It's been a great, I've
Yeah.
never regretted I took it. It's been a great experience so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it a Ghanaian church or white church that
Uh,
you see a lot of Africans there?
okay, so my church, you don't see a lot of Africans. The only Africans you
Yeah.
see are my friends, and like they are mostly Ghanaians. It's a white church, but the pastor is superb. Like he's so friendly. He's ready to help you in any way he can. Anytime you call, he's ready to. I mean, he's fantastic. That's one thing that has really kept me in that church. Like everybody's willing to help. Everybody, they are not racist. Like
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, some of the white people can be some way sometimes,
Yeah.
but so far the people that I've met, especially that church, they are great. They are great people.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I spoke with my friend John
Hmm.
on this channel, he met his wife in the church. They have two kids now.
Oh wow,
Do you do you are you do you understand the question I've not asked you?
I know where you're trying to get.
Do you understand the question I've not asked you? Do you understand me?
Yeah, I want to skip that one.
Well, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Before you came to the US, obviously you know the US very well. Everyone knows a lot about the US. Is there anything that has surprised you about the US?
Um, hmm.
I mean, you've not been here for too long, so it's fine if nothing has surprised you. Maybe not
Yeah,
significantly surprise you, but yeah.
yeah. I would say not significant.
Mm, mm,
You see, there's this picture everybody has about US, right? But fortunately for me, before I came, like I had friends here, and then I've seen a lot of pictures and videos of bad places and all that. So
yeah.
my expectations were kind of average. Some people have weird
Hi.
expectations about
Okay.
in the
Mm,
US. You come, you see, junkies around and all that, and then say, "Hey, is this happening here too?" I mean, it's the US. It's happening everywhere.
yeah.
Yeah. So for some people, probably maybe they might be shocked when they see all these things. You go somewhere, you see death around. You don't have it in a lot of places, especially in where I am. You
Mm,
barely see those things. But where I landed the airport. I landed. When I came out, I saw little bits of those things. So yeah, I
What's
was
the
a
name
bit
of the airport?
surprised.
Which airport did you land at?
Washington, Dallas.
Ah, Dallas. Okay.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I saw bits of those things. So I was like,
Mm.
oh, okay, yeah.
And do you miss home?
Sometimes
Uh,
I do, but not
yeah,
too much because even if I think
I
it's
can't
all
do
in the
anything about
mind.
it.
If
Yeah,
if yeah, if you are psyched that actually you are going to stay here for quite a bit long time, you wouldn't
yeah,
be worried about. And then
yeah.
one thing that has also helped is like I've always kept in touch with family. I do my best to
Mm,
call you know, frequently, so I think that has also helped
mm,
in a way.
yeah. Yeah, I've never done this before. Do you want to say hi to anybody, in Ghana? Maybe they might
Um,
watch it or something. Just
yeah,
anyone or,
yeah,
as many people as you want.
yeah. So first of all, I'd like to say Merry Christmas to my family, my mom and dad, and Happy New Year as well. And Merry Christmas to your viewers and
Okay,
all
thank
the
you.
international students in the
Yeah.
US. I want to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. 2025 is going to be
Mm,
the best year. We're just, praying and hoping for the best. And
yeah.
yeah, I would say, it's been an amazing experience
Wow.
and
Mm,
I've not regretted it in
yeah.
any way. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, I've really enjoyed this interview. Like I've learned so much, so much. And your stories, the kind of stories that I like to hear where students talk about putting in the work, because, you know, somebody would have given up
Mhm.
or would have still gone ahead to wait for whatever the agents will give them, and end up wasting so much money, that kind of
Mhm.
thing. But you decided to take the initiative and then be responsible for your own life. This is what
Mhm.
I'm always telling students. So that's why I really love this conversation with you.
Yeah.
If someone wants to link up or follow you, where can they do that?
Okay, so I'm not so much into social media,
Okay.
but I would have to probably maybe get my handle. You can reach out to me on IG. I'm most active on IG.
Okay.
1 second, let me get it.
Yeah. I'll leave the
Should
link
have.
in the description as well. But if you want to leave the name, okay, you can just go ahead and then check that.
Yeah, and
Because
then take.
sometimes students wanna, once in a while ask a few questions. You don't have to answer everyone's questions, but it
Yeah,
depends on what the student presents. It's like everybody, we all wanna help in a way, but then it depends on how much work you have already done.
yeah,
If you need a little push, we can push you. But if you come and then you don't want to do anything at all, then it's like how can I actually help you? I don't
yeah,
really have much time like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So my IG handle is Daniel underscore Drew underscore Kunedu. You
Okay.
can reach me on that, and
Okay.
I think yeah, basically that's it.
What
Um,
about TikTok?
TikTok, yeah, I would also have to put that out.
Yeah, so this video will be turned into shorts and then
Hmm.
I'll put them on TikTok. And so I'll be tagging you. So those of you who are following him on TikTok, you are going to see
Oh,
Daniel's
that's
page
great.
and then you can follow him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So this has been amazing. Daniel,
yeah.
once again, thank you so much. And
You're
I hope we
welcome.
get to talk again, about your future plans. You are just new, so I don't want to get into the future, but
Hmm.
hopefully, some amazing things come your way so that we can get the time to talk about them.
Yeah,
Thanks again.
and
And
I also want to say this, like, to your viewers,
yeah.
you should get in touch with him. He's a gem. Like he has a lot of good, he has a lot of good stuff, good content.
All
Get in
right.
touch
Thank
with
you.
him, and then you'll be fine. You'll be
Thank you.
fine. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Take care. Bye
All
bye.
right, take it. Bye.